Hey everybody, Mike Turnquist here. Happy New Year. Wanted to start off by saying Happy New Year. It's good to be 2017, and I'm pretty excited about the market this year, and I think pretty much everybody's going to have a pretty good year this year. And I can't wait to tell you a little bit about where we're headed. And I wanted to also thank last month's guest Tony Gaspar for coming along and giving us that great impact on interest rates and whatnot. So if you guys are with me, let's get started here. All right, here we are. January real estate market report. So as always, we're going to cover some news, updates, and we're going to get right into the news. But so it's critically important to understand that when I'm talking about is news, I don't want to pigeonhole the news into good news or bad news. It's just news. So I want to give you what's going on, taking place, and what that means and what people are feeling. People are feeling good about the economy. So they're feeling pretty good about their personal finances, and that means people are going to be moving out of their house that they're currently in, moving into a bigger home, maybe downsizing, maybe buying that vacation home now that the lake is full, or filling, so to speak, either in the mountains, on the water. People just feel good right now. So that's part of the reason, and we'll explain some of the news clips. But after the election, they see that the country is going in a positive direction. Now, again, I want to say it's not good news, it's not bad news, it's just news. So I know there are people on this call that work very diligently to get Trump elected, and I know there's people on the call that work very diligently to get Hillary elected. So I'm not making any political statements about things. What I'm going to tell you, it's just good news and bad news. It's not good news and bad news in my eyes. It's just news. So we have to make sure that we're approaching things in the same way. Some of our clients are big Hillary supporters. Some of our clients were big Trump supporters. Country broke down just about 50-50. And for the Hillary supporters, I know it's a little bit more than 50% in the overall vote. But the country is pretty much divided down the middle. So I don't want to put a political spin on things, and that's not what we're doing. But so we just want to report the news here. So consumer confidence jumped to the highest level since 2004, extending a surge in America's optimism for the finances in the U.S. economy following Donald Trump's election victory. The University of Michigan said that in its final index of sentiment for that year rose 98.2 from 93.8. Again, jumped to the highest level since 2004. So consumer confidence is at a good place. People feel good about their own finances. People feel good about making a move right now. People feel good about where they stand, better than since 2004. So that's from the University of Michigan. So if we go over the National Federation of Independent Business Small Business Optimism Index, that also jumped from 98.4% to 98.4% from 94.9. So that's the sharpest surge since 2009. So if you kind of take a look at these quotes here, we got some Bloomberg, and you'll see the Consumer Confidence Index right there. So the consumer confidence climbed in December, and it was at the highest level since August of 2001. That's the highest level in 15 years on that index, as Americans were more, let's say, upbeat about the outlook than any other time in the last 13 years. So according to this New York-based conference board, American households are generally expecting a Donald Trump administration to deliver for one reason or another. They're more upbeat about the prospects of the economy, the labor market, and their incomes. So what I'm saying to you, we're at the right time now, and there's going to be people making some moves. So there's going to be a lot of people jumping into their first house. So they're going to be putting their house on the market, buy that move up, move down, vacation home, maybe eventually that retirement, and you'll see that there. So if we take a look at the housing supply year over year, you're going to see that we continuing to be down over last year. So in November it was 9.3. Now it's about 9.1. So it really hasn't changed too much. The biggest challenge we're going to have in 2017 is we're going to have a whole bunch of people who want to buy a home, and we're not going to have a whole bunch of people who want to sell. So we've been saying it over and over again. I know everybody's been saying it the last 60 days, but shoot, we've been saying it for 8 months now. Okay, change in inventory, over category. So you can see that starter homes is way down, trade up homes way down. The premium homes are also down 5.6% over last year. So that take a look, interest rates right here. So we had that big spike end of last month or end of last year, okay? And interest rates skyrocketed, all right? And there are more people feeling good about the economy. Some people feel good about the economy. This is kind of what happens. So interest rates start to slide up. So there was no need to keep them down as a stimulus. So you can see that over the last 2 months, they have essentially kind of skyrocketed. Now, where are they going to go for the rest of the year? Okay, so here's some kind of predictions. We went over these last month. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Mortgage Bankers Association, NAR, they delayed putting out their report as far as the future, 2018 numbers. But if you take a look at where we're going to be, somewhere in the 4s. Okay. All right. Here's some good quotes here. We think that the conforming 30-rate fixed rate probably make it into the 4.6%, 4.75% at some point during 2017 as the peak. Zillow's chief economist wouldn't be surprised if 30-year fixed mortgage rate hit 4.75. So a little different story than we were hearing last year. Okay, despite the recent jump in mortgage rates since the election, the average annual 30-year fixed was 3.65 in 2006. So that's the lowest annual average ever recorded, going all the way back to 1971. Mortgage rates would have to go a lot higher before they really crimp on a buyer's ability to afford a home, says Ralph McLaughlin. Estimates between 7 and 10% would really be what it took to put a significant crimp on the housing prices there, or the housing market. Okay, so right here we're going to talk a little bit about rent. I mean, look at how rents have skyrocketed. So landlords are the ones getting rich. So if you are a landlord right now, I'm going to pat you on the back and say congratulations, because these rents are really good for you. But for all the first-time home buyers, let's just make sure that you know that it's your landlord getting rich. Okay, renters paid a cumulative of $478 billion in rent in 2016. So that's an average of 3.8% increase over the year. So, and that increase is going to continue in the future. Okay, so that's why it's pretty important to talk about interest rates and the value in owning your home and basically locking that in. So we call that the interest rate lock. Okay. Some sellers might be reluctant to move up or trade down, especially if they refinance in the most recent years. So why would they feel that? Well, if they refinance at 3.5%, and all of a sudden the mortgage rates are 5% by the end of the year, they're not going to pay more money if they're doing not only are they going to pay more money doing a move up, they're also going to pay higher interest rates. So, and these two things involved, they might just say, hey, let's stay where we are. So crucially important, while interest rates are still low, that we get everybody kind of thinking about moving, versus now versus later on in the year, because it's just going to make that move much more expensive. So home values pushed higher in 2016, basically driven by a lack of supply in the hottest markets. So I would consider San Luis Obispo County a pretty hot market, and we still have very low inventory, very low inventory. Okay, so, and what some people just don't know is that they do possess significant equity and are able to make that move. So most people, on average, think they have about 37%. I'm sorry, the 37% of people think that they don't have 20% equity, when in fact that 79% of people actually do have 20% equity at this point in time, which is pretty cool. All right. So existing home sales, I can kind of fly through these really quickly because they haven't necessarily changed too drastically since last month. We have that seasonal dip, so to speak, around the holidays, but you can see home sales, despite the low inventory, have been very strong, especially compared year over year, from 16 to 15. And you can see the pending home sales are also very strong compared to year over year. We had a little dip over the summer months, but we're right back over the top there. And you can see historically we're at a very healthy pending home sales level. We just need more inventory of homes to sell. And you'll see that year over year, last year, the percentage of distressed property is also going down. So the REOs and the short sales are becoming few and farther between as people have gained more and more equity. So months of inventory. So you can see that from 2011, kind of where we bottomed out and then the market started to recover, you can see that the inventory is very, very low. Mortgage credit availability. Yes, it is definitely available. A lot of people still feel that they can't get a loan, but the availability has definitely gone up. The average days to close a loan are right about 49 days. So good lenders like Tony can do shorter time frames, but average over the last 12 months is about 49 days. And here's something that might surprise you. You can see the average FICO score for types of loans, FHA being a little more conservative on that at 686. Okay, and that's a little bit lower down payment as well. Average back-end debt to income ratio, so that's taking your income and comparing that to your housing payment, car payments, credit card payments, all that put together, and you can see that also FHA is a little bit more conservative there with a 42% debt to income ratio. So here's the slides for the resources if you ever want to check up on any of the statistics that we're showing you. Okay, so a little bit of what I wanted to kind of talk about is some of the questions that we get asked from time to time, and kind of go over some bullet points. Why home ownership is a good financial investment. So mortgage payments can be fixed. So if you get a 30-year, a 15-year fixed, your payment is set, your interest rate is set, unless you do more of a creative financing with a 5-year fix or something like that. But typical mortgages have a 15 or 30-year fixed rate, and it's never going to go up. Okay, rents can go up, and as you saw from a previous slide, that they're going to go up. They went up 3.8% last year. That can start to add up. Equity in your home can be used as a financial resource later. So most of the time when I have someone come sit down with us and they're talking about moving up to a new home or downsizing or whatever, I always ask them, it's like, is it possible to keep your current home as an investment, and you can use equity in that home to purchase the new home and then still have that additional income stream coming in? So we always want to take a look at that first. Or you can use the equity in your home to start a business or do something else like that. You can build wealth in your home without paying capital gains tax. So if it is definitely your primary residence, you can make a good gain and have it be 100% tax-free. Okay, a mortgage can also act as a forced savings account. So what we mean by that is you're making your payments, paying down the principal on your note there, gaining equity that way, regardless of any market dynamics. So the market goes up, goes down, whatever it may be, it can totally crash, but 30 years later, you now own that house free and clear, regardless of of the market dynamics. And also with that mortgage interest tax deduction, a lot of people don't change their exemptions, and when they file their taxes, they use that as, you know, to pay off a debt or to take it and go on vacation or whatever, as well. So just by simply paying their mortgage payment. And overall, homeowners enjoy a greater wealth growth than renters, just by using their home as their principal financial nest egg there. So again, this slide, rent is going up. So if you guys are renting, definitely give us a call and let's figure out if we can't stop that and get you guys into the home and start building wealth through real estate here. So a couple of reasons why to hire a real estate professional. You know, we're experiencing the disclosures and all the paperwork. It's heavily regulated and it's kind of a nightmare. They used to do the purchase contracts on a one-page sheet. They were very basic. Now they're 10 pages long and they have so much involved with them. It might be, you know, hard to figure that out on your own for sure. So we're educated and experienced in the entire sales process. So our job is pretty much to kind of hold your hand the entire way, make sure that you're in the know, and then you can make the good decisions. As far as negotiations go, we can act as a buffer in those negotiations, keeping the emotion out of that negotiation process and make sure that everything goes smoothly into your advantage. So being skilled negotiators, as I say, it's fun for us. It's fun for me, making that win-win for everybody. So another thing is we understand today's real estate values. Zillow and their Zestimate, I don't believe will ever replace an experienced real estate agent who understands the market, understands what the buyers are looking for and seeing value in. And a computer cannot look inside your house and see what kind of upgrades are popular and this and that. It's pretty much just a numbers game, which really doesn't necessarily work too well unless you're in a very cookie cutter neighborhood and whatnot, which may or may not be the case. And we simply and effectively explain today's real estate headlines and kind of cut to the chase a little bit. A lot of the media puts out these headlines and then changes their story the next week and this and that, but you may not know how it necessarily applies to you. So we can kind of help you wade through that and get to the real meat and potatoes of it. So one of the things we hear all the time, hey, I'm not really sure if my credit score is high enough to buy a home. So always be checking up on your credit. You know, whether you plan on buying or selling or whatever, it's always a good idea to keep track of your credit. There's a lot of services online. You can meet up with your mortgage professional and they can kind of go over your credit score with you. But you might be surprised on how credit score is distributed on average. So 24% of people have a 700 plus FICO score. Now that's going to get you a really the best interest rate. You're going to be able to qualify for a mortgage with that, but you can kind of see around that 650, 699 mark. There are still loan programs for you, and that's a good majority. A lot of people, 21.3%. So another one here. I don't know if I'd get enough money from my house to make it worth selling. So we kind of go back to this slide here. Is some people just don't understand how much equity they actually have and how much they need to make a move, and how that all plays out. So if you guys ever want to know what your equity position is and how you can use that to your advantage, definitely give us a call. We can sit down and pencil that out for you and kind of put a good strategy together, so that you can continue to build equity, continue to build wealth through real estate. So a little bit shorter this month. Next month, we're trying to have a really awesome special guest. Still working on confirming him here and the dates here, but I tell you what, he is definitely very entertaining and probably one of the most knowledgeable people on a certain portion of the real estate transaction. So I'm really excited to have him on there. So there we go. All right. So thanks for coming along today, guys. I know it A lot of it is just some information that we talked about last month, but definitely want to keep everybody in the know. And if you're thinking about making a move, or you know a friend or family member looking to try to piece together a real estate strategy, definitely give us a call. Definitely give us a call. So until next month, thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon.